Hari Om everyone. Today we will be covering verses 9.6 to 9.10. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. My sincere pranams and salutations to our gurus, Dr. Sachin sir, for giving me an incredible opportunity to moderate this class. So, in the last class, we started with the 9th chapter, Raja Vidya Rajaguhya Yoga. The main subject of this chapter is Ishvara Jnana. Now, Ishvara, we've seen in the 12th chapter, is of three forms. There's three stages. One is Ekarupa Ishvara, which is in the form, for example, Rama, Krishna, Shiva, etc. The other is Vishwarupa Ishvara, where Ishvara is in everything, everyone. And the other is Arupa Ishvara, the Nirguna, formless, attributeless God. Now, this chapter 9 is very much related to chapter 7. We've seen in chapter 7 there is Para Prakriti and Apara Prakriti. We can take an example of Ardhanareshwara, which is half Shiva, half Shakti. So here Shiva is representing Brahman. Brahman is the Para Prakriti, the Nirguna Ishvara, attributeless, imperishable, all pervading Brahman. And Shakti represents Maya. Maya is the Apara Prakriti, the lower nature. In the 9th chapter, this is referred to as Vijnanam and Jnanam. Verse 1, here is a brief recap. So why is this called the greatest secret, Raja Guhya? Because it is the rarest knowledge. It is very difficult for common people like us to understand and grasp. But what is the benefit of learning this rare knowledge? It helps in cutting down the cycle of samsara, birth, rebirth, and death, and attaining moksha, which is ultimate freedom from all this material disturbances. Why do you think Krishna taught this knowledge to Arjuna? Because Arjuna has an open mind, a non critical approach, and is sincere. So, similarly, we must all also have these qualities in ourselves to learn this knowledge. In verse 2, he says, it is the greatest knowledge, greatest secret, royal knowledge, unopposed by dharma and imperishable. So you see he's creating a little interest and suspense so that Arjuna and all of us are eager to learn this knowledge. But why do you think it's called a secret? Because it might be in yourselves, but it is very hard to recognize. So this knowledge, this chapter helps us to recognize that God within ourselves. Verse 3 talks about the importance of Shraddha, focus, concentration, bhakti, devotion. And verse 4 and 5, Krishna says, all beings are in me whose form is manifest. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. They are not in me. We can understand this better with the help of an example. So let's consider space. Space is humongous. We are comparing space here to the Nirguna Brahman. So space is vast. All beings are in space, but space does not get affected by us. That is what Krishna is trying to say here. So now if Anvit is there, we can go ahead with the story of significance of Navratri. Anvit, are you there? Okay, I think we can start with the verses. We'll start with today's class with 9.6 by Moksha. Moksha, go ahead.
यथाकाशितो नित्यम्
यथाकाशि स्थितो नित्यम्
वायुः सर्वत्र गो महान्
वायुः सर्वत्र
तथा सर्वाणि भूतानि
तथा सर्वाणि भूतानि
मत्स्थानि उपधारय
मत्स्थानीत्युपधार्यः.
हरिओम. The short meaning of this verse is, just as the great all-pervading wind is ever present in space, is in the same manner all beings are in me. Does you understand? Next, please. In this verse, God Krishna tells about the relationship of soul and Almighty God. For clarifying this, Lord Krishna gives an example of Almighty wind. The wind has no independent existence from the sky. It moves continuously and furiously in the sky, and so rests in the. Similarly, the souls have no independent existence from the God. Although all souls in this cosmos are different and move independent, yet they all exist in Supreme God. It means everybody rests in God. Hari Om.
Thank you, Moksha, for that explanation. So, this verse, Krishna is elaborating the fourth and fifth verse. So, he is trying to explain whatever he said in those two verses with an example, where he says all like wind is present in space, all beings are present in me. Let's go ahead with the next verse. Raghav, if you're there.
Yes, I'm there. Aditi.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Namaste everyone. Hari Om. Namaste ma'am. Salaam. I will chant the one that like half of the first line of the verse, and then I request everybody to repeat. Sarva bhutani kaunteya prakritim
सर्वभूतानि कौन्तेय
prakritim yanti mamikam
प्रकृतिं यान्ति मामिकाम्
kalpakshe punastani
कल्पक्षये पुनस्तानि
kalpado vrisajamyaham.
कल्पादौ विसृजाम्यहम्.
Next slide, please. Aditi. Translation and the meaning of this verse. So this is the literal translation of this verse. So it is as follows. At the end of one kalpa, all living beings merge into my primordial material energy. At the beginning of the next creation, O son of Kunti, I manifest them again, presiding over my material energy. I generate these myriad forms again and again in accordance with the force of their natures. Next slide, please, Aditi. So first, I will just revise that what we have learned in the 8th chapter, that what is a kalpa. So a cycle of 4 yugas, that the Satyug, Treta Yuga, and Bhakti Yuga and Kali Yuga constitutes a Mahayoga. Such 71 Mahayugas constitute a Manvantar, and such 14 Manvantars constitute a kalpa. Okay, so so at the end of each kalpa, Pralaya happens, in which all the 14 lokas dissolve into the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. This is known as Pralaya. So when Pralaya occurs, the only Sthula Sharir gets dissolved, not the Sukshma and the Karana Sharira. Next slide, please. So, what is the lifespan of Brahma and what is its significance? So, the 1 year of Brahma constitutes 360 Brahma days and 360 Brahma nights. Such 100 years constitute the lifespan of Brahma. So, after Brahma dies, the whole cosmic universe is destructed. They also get dissolved in the ultimate Supreme Lord, the Virat Swarup or Lord Krishna. So, only the Karna Sharira remains, which is also known as the soul, the Sukshma Sharira, which is the mind and the ego, and the Sthula Sharira, the physical body, get destructed. This is also known as Mahapralay, in which the Trinity are also dissolved. Next slide. So, what happens next? So, previous slide. After Mahapralaya, the universe remains in the unmanifested state for 311.04 trillion human years, which is the duration of Brahma's life cycle before the next creation starts. After the Mahapralaya, the god again creates the entire universe, including the Trinity, space, time, and matter. The Panch Mahabhuta merge into the Panch Tan Mantras. The Panch Tan Mantras merge into the Ahankaram, and the Ahankaram merges into Mahan. Mahan merges into Prakriti, the primordial form of the material energy, and the Prakriti goes and rests in the divine body of Supreme Lord Mahavishnu. Next. So in the Vishnu Purana, as it is mentioned, the Mahapralaya is described as a time when the entire universe, including the gods, celestial beings, humans, and all living creatures, are dissolved back into the formless essence of Brahman. This marks the end of Brahma's 100-year life cycle. The dissolution process happens in stages. So first is the destruction of the elements. First, the earth merges into water, water into fire, fire into air, air into space, and finally space dissolved into the unmanifest, which is also known as avyakta. Next slide. So second stage is destruction of all beings. All beings, including the demigod, devas, demons, asuras, and all forms of life in the universe are destroyed. Time ceases to function and all karmic actions come to a halt. Third is dissolution of subtle dreams. The subtle dreams, heaven, hell, etc., also dissolve, leaving no trace of individuality or separate existence. Karma is also dissolved in this stage. Fourth is return to Brahman. So now everything merges into Brahman, the eternal reality, the Mahavishnu. Even Brahma, Prabhudaksha Vishnu, and Shiva. Next slide. Next slide, please. Now, the last stage is complete dormancy. The universe remains in the state of complete dormancy with no differentiation, time, space, matter, until the cycle of creation begins again with the emergence of new Brahma. So here we can see the Tanmantras, Panchtanmantras as it was mentioned in the previous slides. So first is sound, which we hear. Second is touch, which we feel. And third is form, which we witness. And the fourth is taste. And the fifth and the last is smell. And there are also Panch Mahabhutas also. And now I would just give a brief description of three types of sharir. So first is the Sthul sharir, which we all see, which is the gross body or the physical body. Second is a Sukshma sharir or the subtle body, in which all the karma is attached, as well as the mind and the ego are also included in this. And third is the Karna sharir, which is the soul. Thank you. Dhanyavad. Hari Om.
Thank you, Raghav, for that very nice explanation. So, here Arjuna says, I'm sorry, Krishna says, "Oh Arjuna, I request Naren to please mute your mic. Thank you." So, at the end of each cycle, all beings resolve into my Prakriti. Again, at the beginning of the next, I create them. As Raghav mentioned, so I would like to take an example of the waves. So, as waves hit the shore, they resolve back into the ocean. And then again, the new form, the next cycle, that is the ocean, water creates them. So, Krishna says that all beings resolve into me, and again, me here is Brahman, and again at the beginning of the next cycle, Brahman creates them. Next, we have 9.8 by Pragnya. She is not here. I will just.
Namaste everyone. Today I'll be presenting the 9.8 verse and I hope you all like it. Chanting of the verse is as follows. Prakritim swamavastabhya vishrajami punah punah bhutagramamimam kritsnam avasam prakritir vasat. Little meaning of the verse is the whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again, and under my will, it is annihilated at the end. So in this shloka, Sri Krishna explains that Prakriti or nature is Ishvara's tool or mechanism for creating the universe, which includes us as well. So this is a sort of a cycle. Prakriti brings the universe and everything in it to existence, retains it, and when the time comes to destroy the universe, she does that. So Prakriti is responsible for keeping the universe going. And how is she able to do this even when injustice is at its peak? So that time Ishvara takes different forms or what we say avatarams, and he comes to earth to protect the dharma. So the best example we can take here is definitely the Dashavatarams. So Ishvara comes is himself Vishnu, and Vishnu comes down to earth 10 times in different avatarams to uphold the dharma that would have been disturbed by other beings. So now Sri Krishna further explains that while Ishvara fully controls Prakriti, he does not micromanage it. As in, he does not go and bug her for every single detail and tell that no, you should do it this way, that way. All he does is he sets the fundamental rules, and Prakriti knows how to carry it from there. So I want to explain this with an example of a gardener maintaining his garden. So here, gardener is compared to Ishvara, where he prepares the soil, he plants the right seeds, and he provides the right conditions like adequate water and that made sure that the plant is in a place where it receives enough sunlight. And once the seeds are planted, he doesn't manually go and interfere. The seeds automatically follow the natural laws of growth without the gardener constantly, picking at it. So the plant will grow accordingly, like it turns to seed, embryo, and then plant. So that way, the gardener is not interfering. This is how Ishvara leaves the Prakriti to run the universe while setting the fundamental rules. Now, Prakriti or Maya is made up of three modes Sattvic, Rajas, and Tamas. So, we have seen these three throughout Bhagavad Gita. So, each mode, as we know, leads to specific outcomes. So, a person who is dominated by Rajas or negative qualities will be restless and disorganized, while someone who is a Sattvic nature will be calm, efficient, have an organized mind. So, Prakriti automatically functions based on these modes. And as mentioned before, Ishvara does not have to intervene because the gunas themselves shape the results. Now, if you take the example of Arjuna and Duryodhana, we can clearly see as Arjuna had a more composed, organized mind as compared to Duryodhana, and the outcome was the end of the Kurukshetra war. Now we can see, so the above, to elaborate more on the above mentioned point, we can see Vali, Duryodhana, and Ravana. Their actions were driven by tamasa guna, the highly negative emotions like ignorance, darkness, greed, lust, anything. So ultimately, this led to their downfall or death. Any single character which has been dominated by this tamasa guna has never really attained anything good. Okay, they've not attained mukti. So in contrast, characters like Vibhishana, Vidura, Anjaneya, they have embedded themselves with sattvic qualities like virtue, righteousness, following the path of dharma. So all sin they finally attained mukti or they've attained Ishvara's grace. So thus Prakriti is under the command of Ishvara, brings about consequences according to the qualities of each being. So if you have done, as the famous saying goes, if you have done bad, it will come back to you as bad, and if you have done good, it will come back to you as good. That is the way of the nature. Now let us examine the relationship between Prakriti and individual. So Krishna says that individuals are entirely under the control of Prakriti, experiencing endless cycles of death, birth, and death. So that is the one of the main aspects of the Bhagavad Gita, right? So
The audio is playing or not? I can't hear it.
happen about, and then the other, suppose suddenly what happens, they get into an accident or they get injured. So it's so unpredictable. So these that shows that we are just mere pawns of Prakriti. We have no control over such events, and how Prakriti is the main person here. Then, so the only way to escape Prakriti's grip is through the conscious effort to achieving liberation. So, a good example for this is Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, who defeated Afzal Khan, who was a terrible person responsible for destroying many temples, including the Tulja Bhavani temple. So, in this battle, Ma Bhavani herself granted the strength and wisdom needed for to overcome uh, the the battle that was going on between Shivaji and Afzal Khan. So she herself, or you can refer to the Prakriti here, because she knew that Shivaji was fighting for Bharata, like for his motherland, and he had sattvic qualities. So she herself willingly gave him all the strength and all the wisdom that is required. So he during their one of their meetups, he expected Afzal Khan to attack him, and he himself was prepared, and he was able to overpower Afzal Khan here. So this highlights that with divine support and determination, and the fact that you're following the path of dharma, individuals can break free from this cycle. So Prakriti herself gives way, and she allows us to go to merge or become one with Ishvara. So, in conclusion, while individuals are subject to cycles of birth and death under the influence of Prakriti or controlled by Prakriti, the conscious effort and the path of Dharma or the constant bhakti that you have, it can lead to liberation or mukti. So, by recognizing this relationship, one can strive for a higher state of existence beyond the control of nature. I hope you can understand this verse. Dhanyavatam and Hari Om.
Thank you, Pragnya. So even though she's not in the class, she has recorded and sent her audio. This shows the commitment that we must all have towards these classes. So as she rightly said, Prakriti is like the gardener example. So the gardener is Ishvara, and under the natural conditions, which here is Prakriti, the plant grows. So let's move on to the next word. We have Anvit. Anvit, are you there? 9.9. Okay. I request everyone to chant after me. Nacha mam tani karmani
न च मां तानि कर्माणि
nibadnanti dhananjaya
निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय
udasinavadani sam
उदासीनवदासीनम्
asaktam teshu karmani.
असक्तं तेषु कर्मसु.
Yeah, sorry. So the literal meaning goes like this: Oh Dhananjaya, all this work cannot bind me. I am ever detached from all these material activities, seated as though natural. So here Krishna explains the property of akartatvam. We have seen this in the 8th chapter, in the beginning few verses. So akartatvam, karta means the doer. Akarta means not the doer. So all this work cannot bind me. We can take an example of light. So light falls on goddess Ganga, light falls on the gutter as well. So goddess Ganga is pure, but it doesn't mean that when light is falling on Ganga, the light doesn't become pure. And when it is falling on gutter, it doesn't become, bad and nasty. So the light does not get affected by all of this.
Nande mattadu.
Okay, I think it is here. Go ahead, Anvit.
Anvit, you want to go on? Start?
If you want, you can.
No, go ahead, Anvit. You go ahead.
Aditi, there is only 10 more minutes. I think
Okay, ma'am. We have
one
only.
more shloka. I think we'll be easily able to finish it. One more shloka, that's it.
Yeah.
Anvit, you don't want to continue? Aditi, I think you continue if Anvit is not continuing.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah. So I don't think Swastik is also here. So I'll just chant this verse. मयाध्यक्षेण प्रकृतिः सूयते सचराचरं हेतुनानेन कौन्तेय विपरिवर्तते. Working under my direction, this material energy brings into beings all animate and inanimate forms. O son of Kunti, for this reason, the material world undergoes the changes of creation, maintenance, and dissolution. So here Krishna is explaining that everything is under Brahman's direction, under the Chaitanya. So we can take an example of electricity. Now, electricity gives energy to the bulb. No matter if even if the bulb is big, the bulb is small, that's all the attributes of the bulb. But the electricity, its job is to give energy. So here that is the Chaitanya, or the um, all pervading Brahman. So no matter how, no matter what the attributes of the Saguna Ishvara is, the Nirguna one is always behind. So that is what Krishna is saying in this verse. So I think we've come to the end of today's class. I hope everyone could understand. We'll end with the Shanti mantra. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम्